Hello, everyone. I am joined by Liam today, Liam Hartree, who is a very successful podcaster. He has worked with very notable figures and has interviewed many notable people within various industries, from BAFTA winners to top athletes and a myriad of other people. He's a former journalist and celebrity photographer, and he has a lot to share with us today on tips and techniques. He's currently in the coaching space and teaching and guiding people in these spaces around how they can become a better version of themselves, understand a lot more about their lives, and of course, develop a transformational space. So today I'm going to be asking him a couple of questions, particularly around inner strength and potential. And we're going to have a little discussion on those points, and you'll be able to take away a few tips and techniques and ideas from that will help and benefit you. Hello, Liam. It's nice to meet
Nice to see you, Christina, and a lovely introduction. Thank you very much.
you. You're welcome. I'm looking forward to this today. Now, we've got a couple of interesting topics that we have been developing. And for me, I was very interested to know more about awakening inner potential and inner strength within people, and the sort of things that they have to do or to accomplish that. Now, I know that you interview some very well-known people, as well as some people who have got different aspects of their life that they're developing. And so if you could share a couple of tips on how a person would recognize, first of all, maybe their inner power, and secondly, how they would then sort of connect to the inner strength potential.
Well, that's a very good question, Christina, and we will touch on a few of those points for our viewers very quickly with regards to these topics. I've been very blessed in that regard to speak with people who've done the most extraordinary things in terms of overcoming and becoming, and I often say, in overcoming, we become. This can be anything from recovery from terminal cancer, recovery from mental illness, addictions, severe accidents, disabilities, anything that you can think of. And people do often have a limitless well of this inner power and inner strength within them. They just have to tap into that. And obviously, one of the things that I would say is very important with regards to this is obviously working within the subconscious mind on our belief structures and changing the concept of perceived limits. Because as you delve deeper into the fact that life is often a subjective experience rather than an objective experience, a lot of our beliefs actually cause our realities to manifest themselves. As the old saying goes, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So, a big part of it, even though it may sound a little cliche, is actually a lot of these people alter the expectations. For example, one of my interviews with an amazing individual called Dave Bolton, who you can look up, who's now an international speaker, a former police detective, former kickboxing world champion, and a number of other amazing accolades. And he is still alive 10 years after being diagnosed with cancer that was supposed to be terminal. And he also learned to walk again after a serious motorbike accident and became a kickboxing world champion after regaining the use of his leg, all of which doctors told him was impossible to do, and he would never walk again, he would never survive the cancer, etc. And when you look at a story like that, and I know he won't mind me saying this because he speaks internationally on mental resilience, one of the core aspects there is changing the belief structure. So in that particular instance, because he didn't believe he was average and he believed that in terms of the high achievement, he was able to change the thought patterns and lifestyle patterns. The same with stress, which was very likely to be one of the key causes of the cancer. So that's a very quick story there. I don't know if that answers your question, but just to
Does. I mean, for me, I'm thinking about that, understanding your potential is one thing. So he obviously did do that. And he had the fortitude or the strength to think about the fact that he could overcome. And I know he used various techniques and is using various techniques to do that. Now, takeaways for me, for the people, is that we have that inner potential, but a lot of times we don't believe it. As you quite rightly pointed out, it's got a lot to do with self-limiting beliefs. And perhaps you can give a couple of examples of, just a précis of a self-limiting belief, and then people perhaps would understand what we're talking about.
Well, there's a lot of examples out there, and it's a funny thing with belief structures because some people don't know about it, but a lot of people who do know about it overlook it because it's so deceptively simple, although the application has many layers. I think that one of the best examples of self-limiting beliefs is not actually one of my own interviews, but the story of the 4 minute mile. Um, People were told many years ago that if they ran a mile in that length of time, the heart would explode, you would die, it's not possible. And obviously, a man, an amazing individual, did achieve that. And not only that, but after that achievement, multiple other people around the world also achieved the same thing. I've been fortunate to interview a number of ultra marathon runners, and some of them, running 60, 70, 100 miles, for example, were initially told that was impossible. But when some people started doing it, other people started doing it around the world as well. Now, I know that's a physical example, and by no means am I saying to our audience that you have to do something as radical as that, but the principle is sound that when one person does something, other people do see that it's possible. So we also break down our self-limiting beliefs by association. So this is a story that I really like to use because it's so powerful in its illustration of breaking down barriers. I believe that Roger Bannister was the gentleman I was referring to with the 4 minute mile, went on to be an acclaimed scientist. So anyone who's interested, you can look up that story as it's something that has stood the test of time. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, Christina, but there's such a broad subject. It's great fun to
So,
delve into a few
well,
things.
I think the takeaway again is that if you believe you can do it, you can. If you start to believe that anything's possible, or certainly open your mind to possibilities, instead of thinking that we have those self-limiting beliefs, I think that's the first step in stepping forward into a space of potential and then of potential energy. And I think that these stories and some of the illustrations you've used have actually underlined the key principles of finding inner strength and potential today. So thank you for sharing that, Liam. And on that note, I'm going to thank you very much for your contribution and look forward to speaking to you again soon.